A standard corporate job offers a predictable ladder. You put in the hours and you get steady progression. But a Big Four consulting firm operates on a completely different rhythm. It demands absolute intensity from day one. The recruiting pitch from Deloitte, PwC, EY, and KPMG promises elite networking, rapid skill acquisition, and an express lane to the C-suite. Then you read the employee reviews online. The daily reality looks like grueling pressure, non-existent work-life balance, and staring at a spreadsheet at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday while questioning your career choices. We can map these narratives on a spectrum chart. On one end, career acceleration. On the exact opposite end, burnout. The truth lives exactly in the middle. Asking if working at a Big Four is good or bad misses the reality of the situation. The brutal pace is entirely by design. Accepting an offer here means you are actively opting in to an intensely demanding operational system. The decision to join comes down to a calculated investment. You have to weigh the specific career capital the firm offers against what you actually want to build in your current phase of life. The baseline reality for a junior consultant involves unforgiving project deadlines, constant daily ambiguity, and impossibly high expectations, even while you are still learning the basics of the job. This relentless rhythm is a core feature of the business model. To measure if that rhythm pays off, let's look at this quadrant chart. The x-axis measures the personal cost in time and stress. The y-axis measures the long-term value of the skills you acquire. Surviving massive, highly ambiguous client projects with inadequate timelines forces rapid development. You learn to break complex problems into clear, actionable steps. But the cognitive load is immense, making it nearly impossible to unplug. You pay a steep price for that mental framework. You are trading your short-term cognitive peace for permanent, high-level structural intelligence. Beyond the heavy workload, the firm places intense social demands on you, particularly when interacting with senior stakeholders. You are regularly required to present dense data to senior partners. They demand immediate clarity and offer blunt, unfiltered feedback in return. Returning to our quadrant chart, this pressure cooker environment forces you to communicate conclusions with enough clarity to survive a partner's scrutiny. But constant comparison with elite peers frequently triggers severe imposter syndrome. The psychological toll is extremely high. The final daily input is the constant, disorienting rotation across completely different clients, teams, and industries. Navigating these changes builds aggressive adaptability. Once you leave, standard industry roles will feel incredibly slow by comparison. To achieve that adaptability, you sacrifice all routine, stability, and the comfort of ever settling into a deep, predictable flow state. The environment systematically dismantles your personal comfort zones. This is the trade you make to build a capacity to operate effectively in any corporate setting, regardless of the industry. You cannot passively survive this environment. If you try, the firm will consume you. You need a highly specific strategy to extract value from it. The first requirement is intention. Entering the firm just to see how it goes guarantees burnout. You must establish a rigid learning agenda before you start. You must actively seek out the brutal feedback. Knowing exactly where your performance gaps are accelerates your extraction of value from the partners. At the same time, you have to protect your core identity. You must actively separate your personal self-worth from your weekly utilization rates. Managing this meta-career strategy requires immense mental energy, stacked right on top of your exhausting project work. This line chart shows the timeline of a strategic Big Four stint. You track the value you extract over time. The rule for leaving is simple. You exit the exact moment your learning curve hits a hard plateau, regardless of the time you've spent there. Treating a Big Four role as a finite, transactional bootcamp shifts the ultimate power dynamic away from the corporation and directly back to you. Now we can apply this ROI data to specific professional archetypes to determine if this path makes sense for you. Let's look at this decision matrix, mapping your goals against the reality of the firm. The first archetype is the ambitious catalyst. This professional prioritizes rapid resume building and aggressive skill acquisition above all else. The firm will reward your sacrifice with unmatched exit opportunities. For the catalyst, the verdict is a strong buy. Next is the Undecided Explorer. You want to use the job to sample different industries while getting paid to learn. For the Explorer, this is a hold. It works, but only if you cap your stint at 2 years before burnout outweighs the value. Finally, the boundary seeker. Your current phase of life requires deep work, predictable hours, and strict mental health boundaries. The systemic lack of boundaries at these firms guarantees severe burnout. For the boundary seeker, the verdict is a strong sell. A Big Four stint builds a technical foundation most internal roles take years to develop. It is a powerful tool for your resume, but it remains entirely optional for long-term professional success. The real test isn't figuring out if the job is hard. The question you have to answer is whether you are willing to match the extreme rhythm this environment demands. Making the right choice requires looking past the prestige, assessing the personal toll, and calculating the exact cost of your ambition.